Just Energy Radio with Dr. Rita Louise. What am I made of? Why do I get sick? How can I live a more balanced and whole life? These are just a few of the questions that will be explored tonight by your host, naturopath, medical intuitive, and clairvoyant, Dr. Rita Louise. Call in and talk to Dr. Rita and her thought-provoking guests. Get the help you need to move beyond any obstacle or challenges affecting your life right from the source. And now back to Just Energy Radio with your host, Dr. Rita Louise.
Hello and welcome back to Just Energy Radio. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for staying tuned to the second hour of the show. The first hour was a little challenging, and hopefully we are going to just move along here and not have any problems. At least that's my goal. That's the energy I'm putting out. That's what I'm going to be attracting to me is some good airtime energy. And to help hold that vibration, we have Denise Coates, and we're going to be talking about feelings and the law of attraction. So let me tell you a little bit about Denise, and we'll get her on the air, and we'll just talk about it. Denise Coates was born and raised in the Bay Area and Montana. She attended the Washington Psychic Institute, where she was trained to give aura and chakra readings and healings. In 2001, she discovered teachings on the law of attraction and has since coached thousands of people of how to live happier and healthier lives. So please welcome to Just Energy Radio, Denise Coates. Hi, Denise.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dr. Rita?
I am great.
Great.
Well, you know, I'm a graduate of BPI, even though we're like supposed to be mortal enemies because, you know, you guys hate Lewis. But now
well, I've been
dead.
gone from there for a while now. I actually live in Monterey now, so I haven't been in the Washington Psychic Institute since 1993 or 4. So I've actually taken classes at BPI, and I love it. So they're all good in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their teachings and information is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's funny because I am one of these people who've really been stressing, you know, doing what you love and really listening to that inner guidance and trying not to do as many things as you can do that you feel like you should do. Try to take those out of your life, you know, and get back on track with what exactly you want to be doing, where your passion is. So. And I'm sure you're passionate about this show because I've looked at all of your guests, but you know, it just seems like sometimes we have to take me time. I have a radio show too, and I had it last night, and I was a little tired, and we had John Assaraf on as our guest, and I had to really pump up my energy about 5 minutes before I got on with him because he was like electrified, and I'm like, okay, so I did like a lap around my house. But anyway, well, I'm happy to be here. Do you want me to just do the talking and you can take a nap?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. You know, I was very excited to talk to you because we've had people come on and talk about the law of attraction. But when people talk about it, they really talk about how you can make money and get a new house and get a new car and find that perfect relationship, which I really do use it with my clients to help them understand what they're creating in the relationship space because it's right every time.
Yep.
But I would think that there are other things we can use the law of attraction to attract to us.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because for me, the whole goal of law of attraction, I kind of, in some ways, have used it as a kind of a side project. It's almost like a deceptive thing, like you can have the car and the money and all these things, but the real goal is just to feel good. It's to feel happy. It's to feel joy on a consistent basis. And I think what the issue is most people, I think about 95% of the people in this world, are addicted to negative thinking and negative feeling and focusing on what they don't want. And so they live in a perpetual state of either neutral to unhappy. And so, especially with the media and all that kind of thing. So for me, the law of attraction is more about the primary reward is that you'll feel better. You'll feel passionate. You'll feel joyful. You'll feel happy. You'll feel like laughing. You'll have amusement. You'll have all these wonderful things if you focus on the feeling place of already having a desire. It will bring you emotional rewards. And the outcomes, the outer world, will be kind of just like the gravy. And that's how I've lived my life, and that's how I've manifested the book deal and all these different things I got. But I felt the joy first for its own sake. And I really believe that's the creative part. You know, talking to a fellow psychic who knows these tools, it's like the mock-up, you know. That's the joy is in the creating it in with energy is much more fun than, you know, making sure it happens in the outer world. And so I really do believe that you can cure depression and all sorts of things by focusing with feelings of joy and emotion on the outcomes that you want. But if you're doing it just to get your stuff, first of all, it's not going to work because you're putting out a lackful signal. But secondly, there's no joy in the process, and so you won't be happy when it gets there anyway.
But don't you need to, I mean, I like to phrase it as you need to hold a vibration. And
yes.
So if you're looking at creating happiness or joy or good turnouts in your life, then you need to hold that joy-filled vibration throughout your day. It's not really about, oh, well, I meditated on making $1 million and I held that energy really high in my space for 20 minutes this morning. And I thought about it 3 or 4 times a day, and I smiled, and then the rest of the day I was just miserable.
You know what? This gives me goosebumps. There's so no synchronicities because this is exactly what I'm talking about, what I'm teaching right now. I'm about to teach in beginning of next month a class on overcoming negativity addiction because I really believe that it's what you're vibrating from sun up till sundown that matters, that you have to pay attention to your vibration all day long. And it gets easier after you've rewired your brain and rewired your neural pathways and reset your dominant vibration. But most people are canceling out everything they're doing with their visualizing because they're doing exactly what you just said. They're not aware of their vibration all day long. They're only aware of it when they're sitting in meditation or visualizing. So for me, it's become a matter of being very aware of my thought train, you know, and where it's headed. And I have a saying that don't let a negative thought train get out of the station, because if you let it go and you're unaware of your negative thinking all day, your vibration is not clear and pure, and you're not sending out a clear vibration, so you're getting a very mixed delivery back. So if you imagine making your order with the waiter and you're really drunk, you know, and you're, blurting all these different things. I want this, I don't want that, I want this, I don't want that. Your vibration is all mixed and all over the place. It's no wonder that we get these haphazard, seeming chaotic events that come back in our lives. It's because our signals are so jumbled. So the first thing I recommend is taking this 30-day detox plan from negative thinking, where your whole goal is to try to stop that negative thought train, between 2 to 5 minutes when you notice it happening, and start doing anything and everything to refocus on what you do want, which includes, if you have to sing, dance, laugh, start laughing, start speaking out loud about how wonderful you are or how wonderful your life is. It takes an intense focus. And then I believe after about 30 days, you'll start to have a dominant vibration of what I call holding the note, and you call holding the vibration, holding the frequency. It's a frequency you're actually holding at it. But until you can master your vibration without being up and down all day long, it's harder to hold those frequencies without, slipping off the cliff into doubt, negativity, fear, lack, all those kinds of things.
And I think it's also important for people to realize that you're going to have days, because it happens to everybody, that you're just funky.
Yeah.
And you just have to, be ready for what you might bring in.
Yeah. Exactly. And, on those days when you're feeling funky, I have a game called the permission game, where it's just like you want to soften any resistance on a funky day. And so just say, you know what, I'm going to give myself permission to feel this way, and I'm going to let myself feel it. And then that itself, the permission itself, creates a non-resistance energy, and that softens it and it raises it. The worst part of funky days and the worst part of negativity is the self-judgment that goes along with it. It's more about kind of being more like a scientist of your vibration, trying to be neutral and objective and say, you know what, this is fine that I'm feeling this way, and I can let myself feel this way, and it's no big deal. I'm a lovable part of God. There's no judgment on me. But you know what, when I'm feeling a little bit better and I let myself, mull around in it and eat ice cream and watch bad TV or whatever I need to do, then I'm going to go, okay, let's shift this around, and sometimes it's letting yourself be funky, and sometimes I really do believe it's indulging the chemical addiction to negativity. Some people just can't stop feeling stressed. They can't stop feeling angry. They can't stop yelling at their husband or wife. And a lot of times that's because it's become an emotional chemical addiction. And that's what I was talking with John Asseroff on the phone last night. He said that, these become neural nets, neural reprograms in your brain, and it becomes an addictive chemical that sends through your body because every thought has its associating biochemical. And so if you're feeling stressed chronically, your body actually, believe it or not, starts to need its stress fix. It starts to need its anger fix because it's used to it. And part of reprogramming your vibration is don't indulge it. So if you start to, yell at your dog and you don't know why you're doing it, it's probably because of your addiction. So what then you do is you stop and interrupt that pattern and do anything and everything, to just stop that in its tracks. And you'll start to see that the funky days get fewer and fewer and the joyful days get brighter and brighter. And that's really, truly what's happened in my life. I was the most depressed person. I was the most down person. I was the most unhappy. Funky days was my life. And then I really started practicing this, really being aware of my vibration and shifting it. And I manifested every single thing on my desire list, but that wasn't even the most important part. The most important part was that I was able to feel happy and joyful at will, whereas before I couldn't get out of the funk if I tried. So that was the biggest manifestation for me. Yeah. Anyway.
Haven't you noticed, and it really has been, I'm going to say, like this past year, not even this whole past year, that the separation in time between what we think or how we feel about something turns around and manifests.
Yeah. Well, basically, yes, I do believe that the energy has speeded up, and I think it's a really good thing because I believe the universe is asking people to be more creative in this planet that we've come to, this planet Earth that we've come to be creative beings. And if we're being really sloppy with our vibrations and unaware of what we're thinking and feeling, we're not really creating deliberately. We're creating by default. And when we're not aware of our vibrations and there's no effects for weeks, months, years, it's easier to just say, oh, whatever. But when you're getting results very quickly from what you're vibrating, it actually is kind of a wake-up call to be more deliberate in how you're vibrating and more creative in how you're living your life and what you're focusing on. So it could be seen as a bad thing, obviously, if you're focusing on what you don't want and it comes quickly. But the reverse of that is also so true, and it's been so true in my life and lives of my clients, is that they focus on something they want. They start to buzz with the feeling place of already having it, and then it's like instant, almost 1, 2, 3 days, synchronicity happens. They'll start to see things around them that mesh with that desire, and then it manifests more speedily. And so it's definitely a wilder ride than it used to be here on planet Earth. But I believe we all deliberately came here for that ride.
People really need to realize that there's what we want to bring in, there's the good stuff that we can manifest, but there can also be the negative side of what we manifest.
Yeah.
And so you really have to pay attention. I think I've shared this on the air or when we've talked about law of attraction. I'm going to tell it here. So I went through this phase where I was getting all these phone calls for colonic irrigation. Well, I went online and I'm calling to set an appointment to have a colon cleansing.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it took me a long time to figure out why they were even calling me. I sell colon cleansing products like herbs and supplements for colon cleansing. It doesn't say colonic, but colon cleansing. Anyway, and I would get irritated at the people calling. And at one point in time, I was getting 2 and 3 phone calls a week. And then, the telemarketers and every time. And I'd go and I'd sit on the sofa. It would be 4 o'clock. I'd sit on the sofa, take a little break because I'd be working really hard. And inevitably, I'd go, sit, and the phone would ring. So then I'd get cranky and I'd have to get up and go over the phone. It would be a telemarketer, not even somebody wanting to book an appointment.
Yeah, they just want to talk about colon.
And what I found was I would do that for a few days and my phone would stop ringing about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go, my phone's not ringing. And so then I'd have somebody call about a colonic and I would be nice to them. And I wasn't really nice about the telemarketers, but I decided to put the phone next to me so I would only get a little irritated and not get really irritated because I had to get up off the sofa and walk entirely across the room to pick the phone up. And my phone would start ringing. And I noticed that every time I get irritated at the phone, it stops ringing.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
And I just am putting it out there because my desire is to have my phone ring, but I have to be happy with everything that comes to me, the good and the bad.
This is a very good point you make, especially about how we attract negative things, and we call them negative. But there's also the neutral observer who's really not attached to whether it's a positive or negative thing. It's just that we'll attract abundance of whatever we're focusing on. So I think the people who are focusing on all the debt they have and they just keep attracting more and more and more, and they get the bill in the mail and they dread it and they hate it and then they get more debt and the cycle keeps going, they need to stop and pat themselves on the back for being such masterful creators of abundance, because it's abundance of lack. It's an abundance of whatever you're focusing on. And that's a powerfully creative stance. It's just that it's no fun. It happens to be no fun, but it doesn't mean we're not always creators, and it doesn't mean that all of us, each of us, is not a master at creating whatever we focus on. That's why it's called a law. So if you're focusing with feeling, and that's why my book, Feel It Real, is talking about how when you get into the feeling place of something, that's how you create it, good or bad. So when you get into the feeling place of annoying telemarketers and you really feel that annoyance and your body is sending off the signal of annoyed, you're attracting a ton more of that. But conversely, like with how, for instance, I got my book deal, I just started vibrating it, already having it. I was walking around, celebrating, telling all my friends that I was getting it. I was feeling so wonderful and amazing, and I had no book deal. And 3 weeks later, I got a call from Simon & Schuster, and they said, "Hey, we like your book. Can we put it out?" And so, so they both sides work, and I've been on both sides of it. And so I know what it's like to keep saying, "I don't like this thing my boyfriend's doing. I don't like this thing he's doing. I don't like he's doing." And then he just does it more. And then I stop and I say, "You know what? I'm going to appreciate him. I'm going to appreciate him." And then boom, he starts changing. So everybody is that powerful, whether it's for lack or abundance.
Denise, we need to take a quick break. We're talking to Denise Coates about her new book, Feel It Real, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Just Energy Radio with your host, Dr. Rita Louise, will return right after these messages.
Go deep inside yourself and venture into the realm of the unconscious mind with my Meditating on the Kabbalah guided imagery audio CDs. Discover who you are and what you want in life. Meditating on the Kabbalah can help you to open, clear, and revitalize the energetic pathways of your subtle being. They will support you in your spiritual quest by helping you to access the profound insights and inner guidance you need as you work in alignment with your highest good. Let them help you to release negative thoughts and emotions and clear away any limitations that may be keeping you from experiencing your full potential. Walk down the path to health, healing, understanding, and enlightenment with meditating on the Kabbalah. Order your copy today at www.soulhealer.com. That's right, that's www.soulhealer.com. Hi, I'm Dr. Rita Louise, the host of Just Energy Radio. There's no greater blessing in the world than your good health. Science is now showing that simply eating a high-quality diet doesn't provide us with all the nutrition we need. Doctors recommend we supplement our diets with products derived from whole food concentrates. And one of the most complete and nutritious whole foods found on the earth are little microscopic plants called marine phytoplankton, which can be found in a product called Frequency. I've been taking Frequency every day for about 6 months now, and I feel more energized and full of life. If you're ready to make a difference in your health, I encourage you to try Frequency and see what it can do for you. To learn more about Frequency and other amazing whole food natural products direct from Mother Nature, please visit productsforthesoul.com.
Just Energy Radio wants to help you grow your business. Just Energy Radio has a growing global audience which can provide you with an unequaled opportunity to educate thousands of people about the products and services you have to offer. Through our targeted market, your ad is more likely to connect with like-minded individuals who will respond to your message. In addition, our archiving feature will allow your ad to be heard over and over again. Join the Internet marketing revolution and take advantage of our low introductory prices. Visit JustEnergyRadio.com for more information.
Start the year off right by visiting livinggrocery.com. Experience the miracle of real nutrition as it helps you to lose weight and improve your overall health. Don't mess with pills or capsules. We provide the highest quality, all-natural organic foods that come ready to eat. And best of all, it's delivered straight to your door. Visit livinggrocery.com now and experience your own amazing transformation.
Hi, I'm James Altayanchik, the Black Knight of Talk Radio. Listen to Dr. Rita's Soul Healer Moment live each third Sunday night of the month on Feet to the Fire. www.feet2fire.com for more information. And now back to Just Energy Radio with Dr. Rita Louise.
Hello and welcome back to Just Energy Radio. We're talking to Denise Coates from Denise Coates, that's COATES.com, about her book, Feel It Real. I like the title.
Thank you.
Like it makes you want to reach out and touch somebody.
Yes, it can be read in a lot of different interpretations. You know, it's so funny because when I was listening to your wonderful ads, I was thinking about one of the vibrations of success, whether it's in business or personally, is the vibration, radiating the vibration out of love and of service, and that's what I found is like the highest vibration that I can radiate. And I feel the happiest when I'm vibrating at that love frequency. And so sometimes, you know, if somebody's feeling low or down or funky, one of the things that can really raise your vibrations quickly is to do what I call hold the love note. And just imagine that you're vibrating this frequency of love off of your aura, and it'll really electrify and give you a radiant glow. In fact, John Astroff last night on the radio said that the heart chakra has 75% higher frequency. The actual heart itself has a 75% higher frequency than the brain. And so as we get our emotions involved with love and happiness and gratitude and all these different things, the emotions electrify our thoughts and they speed things up. So I think positive thinking is great, but you've got to get your emotions involved. That's kind of the whole point of what I teach.
And so can you kind of go into what that is, or I guess I should sit closer to the microphone. I'm getting all comfy. Can you explain what that is or what someone might hope to experience as they tap into the feelings? I mean, I know what I do when I'm working with my clients on that way. So I'm just kind of playing a little devil's advocate.
Sure. Well, for me, let me tell you a little bit about my journey. Is that I studied, Abraham Hicks and The Secret, all these different things for many years. But for me, I'm a very practical, kinesthetic person, and I needed techniques. I needed actual games and processes and things to do. And that's what my book is, 56 games to play to get your frequency vibrating at the exact frequency that you want. So, for instance, if you want to vibrate at a wealthy frequency, I have a game called Already Wealthy, where you very quickly start listing the ways that you're already wealthy. Or you start doing something called speed spending, where you spend $25,000 imaginally every couple of minutes, so that you keep your vibration spending money in at well. So there's lots of different things. If you're wanting to have a happier relationship or feel more love in your life, then I have you imagine that your body is a giant tuning fork, and you're actually I count to 16 and have you, for those 16 counts, I say words that help you get in touch with your love vibration, opens your heart, and you start sending out this love frequency very deliberately. So for me, I'm all about, let's just get really practical and do these actual things you can do to get your frequency radiating exactly the signal you want. So it's not a lot of talk or theory, it's much more, let's just get in there and do it.
I had a girlfriend years and years ago, actually when I was living in Washington. And because did we have a conversation that we might actually know each other, kind of?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I used to run the North End Psychic Fair that was in Linwood and Edmonds.
Okay. I think I may have gone to that.
That was like in 93, 94, back then.
That would have been the time when I was up there. So
and that's when I was there, too. Anyway,
wow.
I had a girlfriend, and she wanted a new boyfriend. I mean, she really wanted to enter in a relationship, because the last relationship she was in was with her ex-husband, who was a jerk, blah, blah, blah. And so I asked her, I said, well, what do you want? And she said, breathing would be good.
I love it.
Well, maybe that's why you're not really attracting anything to you that you're interested in, because breathing opens the door to anybody. If that's different. So we spend not that much time, maybe 15, 20 minutes, a half hour on the outside, just talking about what did she want in her relationship. If you're walking through the mall with your new man, do you want him to hold your hand? And if he does hold your hand, how does it make you feel?
Yes.
And if you're at a party and he's across the room and you look at him, how would it make you feel if he smiled at you or winked at you?
And I'm glad that you're mentioning the feeling, that you're talking about feeling, sensations. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like to touch his hand? I have a program called the Soulmate Summoner, and in it there's something called True Love Magnetizer, and it's just a 5-minute thing where I have you sitting across sort of what you're describing on a table, and it's your 1-year anniversary with your dream man. You guys are celebrating your 1-year anniversary, and I say, what are you wearing? What is he wearing? What is the music in the restaurant? What is the taste of what are you drinking? What does it taste like? How does he looking in your eyes? He reaches over, he grabs your hands. What does his hands feel like? What does he say to you? What do you say to him? How does it sound? And so it's like getting every single one of your senses inundated so that you do what I call just starting to hold that note of havingness, which I believe that most people make the mistake in law of attraction, that they think that if they pump up their desire for something, that that's attracting it, but unfortunately that's pushing it away. Because the more you want something, the more you attract wanting it. And that's why people turn away from the law of attraction, because they're like, I tried that and it didn't work because I really got myself all pumped up wanting it, and I just kept wanting it, and because wanting attracts wanting. So what you have to do is shift your frequency into a really deep, vivid, visceral, sensual version of having it already, so that you know what it tastes like, and what his kisses feel like, and what does he smell like, and what do you smell like. Just this whole vivid, sensual experience, so that you can start to summon the actual vibration of having it. And that's when you start to buzz. You start to feel a buzz off your body. That's when you know you're in the magnetic space. And the other thing you know is that you don't want it anymore because it's become so vivid in your vibration. You're holding it in your vibration that's what I think of as detachment and letting go.
Okay, so let me interject a question.
Sure.
So how, in your visualization and in your mock-up creation,
right,
how specific should you get? And I'm going to give you a very specific example. I had a client who came to me, and so I looked at her creation space, in her relationship space, and she seemed very open to a relationship. She had the right pictures out there. It felt like she was doing the right thing. She was very open, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then she turned around and said, yeah, I'm going to marry Troy Aikman, who is like the quarterback for the,
right.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really tried to hold one back, like my jaw just going,
yeah.
But to me, that's like way too specific. So where do you draw that line where you're being clear about what you want, but not too specific that the universe really can't cough it up for you?
Well, I have a very simple answer and a very quick story about that. First of all, the story is that I tried to manifest a very specific person. Actually, while I was living in Washington, I imagined him bringing me a rose to my front door every day. And sure enough, I did manifest him. And it was one of the roughest times in my life being with that person because we weren't a match. It was more about me doing almost like a magic trick to manifest a specific person. It wasn't the right person. I have since met and married the man of my dreams because I was more focused. I actually got married at Disneyland. I was more focused on the feelings. Now, if you're wanting to manifest a specific person, usually you're vibrating at lack. And why that is because you're so specific with the universe, that means you're in a very controlling vibration, and you're sending out a signal of, if it's not this person, I'm not going to be happy, and that's a signal of lack. So it's very simple. If you're really obsessed with one person, you really want one person, then you're really actually vibrating a frequency of lack. Now, if you can get into the essence of what imagining that person makes you feel, which is fine. Like if imagining Troy Aikman makes you feel joyful and buzzing and happy and delighted, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get Troy Aikman, but it's going to mean you're going to get Troy Aikman or someone better for you. Because the fact is, if you don't know Troy Aikman, it's hard to know if he's the right person for you. So it's really about being the essence of that. What is the essence? So if imagining that man makes you buzz with delight and joy, then keep doing it, but be open to something better. But if imagining that person makes you feel tight and tense and feeling wanting and needy, if there's any needy feeling in your visualizations, you're on the wrong track.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
And I think my honest opinion was that woman wanted to be kind of like a groupie person.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't so much about Troy, but it was about being with somebody that was famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe she could have been with somebody even more famous.
Yeah, and if you're open to that, that's fine. If that person elicits that feeling in you, that's fine. I have a game called the TV game where it's a whole new way of watching TV where you actually scan and look around for things, people who are living what you want, and then you match your frequency to them. So you imagine there's somebody who's living a millionaire or they're madly in love with true love or whatever. You just look at their frequency, imagine their frequency and imagine that you're tuning your frequency to their frequency. So you can use these public figures or different people to help your vibration to match that. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the exact, outcome that they have, but you're going to get something that's a vibrational equivalent that'll make you even happier than you could have imagined. And that's what my experience has been, that I'm happier with the outcomes I get when I vibrate at this, having this frequency. And I can use specific people to kind of focus, but for the most part, I'm open to whatever the universe brings.
And anymore, you have to be, because even if what the universe brings to you in that moment doesn't seem all that stellar, there might be a reason that you're getting it, or it might be a little tap on the shoulder that says, Remember how funky your energy was yesterday?
Yeah. But you know what, Dr. Rita, here's the thing, and I hate to be so simplistic, but you know this whole kindergarten vibration, right, is that I really believe that all funky energy, all negativity, anything, whether it's when you're visualizing or living your life or driving or anything, it all comes down to the fact that you're focusing with your mind and your heart and your emotions on what you don't want. It's that simple. Like, think of any time that you're unhappy about anything, it's that you're focusing on the don't want. And so my thing is just spend 10 seconds on that and try to launch it into a want. Try to turn it into a do want. Because if you can use the negativity just enough to leverage you into focusing on what you do want, then the negativity can actually be almost like a guide. You know, when a plane flies from California to Hawaii, it's off track most of the time. It's always correcting itself. And if you can use your negative emotion more as a way as a call to action to correct yourself a little bit, to say, oops, I'm focusing on what I don't want. Well, what's the opposite of that? Okay, well, I don't want to be poor. Well, I really want to feel wealthy. I don't want to be lonely. I really want to feel true love in my life. And so you start to become somebody who's almost like a picky thinker, you know, somebody who can turn that focus onto what is it that you do want, and then feel that feel the emotion of that.
So what do you think about it, doing things like incorporating the Sedona method or EFT or some other kind of release therapy to help you if you just keep finding yourself in that same negative pattern?
Yes.
And by just saying to yourself, oh, well, I'm going to change the vibration, just don't work.
Yeah. Oh, my God. These are such great questions. Okay. First of all,
we're like sisters, girl.
I know. I could talk to you forever. Well, I have a program on my website. It's called the Interactive Coaching Program, and it's little videos of me every day for a year. You spend 5 minutes with me in the morning on this video, and what I do is I have a little talk where I talk about turning the don't want to the want. We really get into the vibration of havingness, which again is the key. And then I do something called turbo tapping, and that's a version of EFT. And what that is, and every day I have people do it and I have turbo taps on my website that basically, for the people who are having an impossible time getting into the feeling place of already having their desire, like they're trying really hard, but they're not able to get there, then what has worked for me is what I've used a version of EFT, which is a belief clearing version of EFT, where you truly just tap out and decharge the negative beliefs, so that you can get to neutral, and then you can visualize. Because you can't visualize if you're just constantly in this negative addiction frequency.
Well, you can, but we just don't want to go there. Denise, we need to take another quick break.
Okay.
We're talking to Denise Coates about her book, Feel It Real. Her website is www.denisecoates.com, and we'll be back after these messages.
Just Energy Radio with your host, Dr. Rita Louise, will return right after these messages.
Hey, it's Dr. Rita Louise. Don't forget to sign up for our free online newsletter at justenergyradio.com. It'll keep you informed of who's coming on the show each week. And don't forget, explore your possibilities every Friday night. Don't miss a single episode of Just Energy Radio. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Are you feeling stuck and unsure which way to turn on your path? Do you lack focus and direction in life? Do you feel something is missing? So what do you want? A better job, your dream home, more money, your ideal mate? Dakara has practical tools to assist you. Schedule a session today to get clear about what you truly desire to deliberately create the life you want. For more information, visit manifestingconsultant.com or call toll-free 1-800-813-3877.
Are you sensitive to energy? Want to explore the world beyond the five senses? Looking for a new career as an alternative healthcare practitioner? Then the Institute of Applied Energetics, Medical Intuition, and Energy Medicine Training programs may be right for you. Our comprehensive curriculum provides students with a deep understanding of how to detect, evaluate, and transform the subtle body, as well as techniques for correcting energetic imbalances that may underscore a person's ability to experience radiant health. So if you are sensitive to energy, contact the Institute of Applied Energetics right away. Be a catalyst for changing the way healthcare is done around the world. Visit www.appliedenergeticsinstitute.com and start your new career today.
Finally, there's a healing and ascension tool that delivers real results faster than you ever dreamed possible. Guaranteed. Feel your body release those lingering physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual blockages. Sense a profound awakening to your next level of intuition and oneness with your higher self. Discover Archangel Metatron's Healing and Ascension CDs at AtlantisHealthCenters.com. Visit AtlantisHealthCenters.com today.
Move past the crossroads in your life and discover alternative solutions to your deepest concerns at SoulHealer.com. So whether it's a physical problem, an emotional issue, a question about work, or troubles in your relationship, naturopath and medical intuitive Dr. Rita Louise can help you. Bring peace, harmony, and health back into your life. Schedule a session today. Visit SoulHealer.com right away and live the life you've been dreaming of.
And now back to Just Energy Radio with Dr. Rita Louise. We are back live with Denise Coates, and Denise, having trouble connecting with Dr. Rita here. So we gotta. It's here. It's in the network here. For some reason, all the connections are going haywire. So
okay.
Perhaps you got about this last segment's about maybe 9 minutes. Maybe you can just talk about something, and then when I'm able to get back with the doctor, we can continue.
No problem. I'll just talk. Yeah. Well, basically, one of the things I wanted to say to Dr. Rita was about this whole clearing energy and clearing energy blocks. And like I said, on my program at DeniseCoates.com, which is the interactive coaching program, I have 3 parts where it's a video of me leading you through getting into the feeling place, and then we do a turbo tap, which clears out any negative beliefs. For instance, I have a releasing money worries turbo tap or a releasing lack consciousness turbo tap, where you actually decharge any emotional negativity that you have on any subject, really, that's bothering you. And then it takes you to a neutral vibration, so then you can it's like a beginner's mind, where you can really get into the feeling place. And then I have something called Hold the Note or magnetizers, which it's like what we were talking about with Dr. Rita, where you vividly taste, touch, smell, see, hear, and feel this desire that you're wanting as if it's happening right now. So, for instance, if you want a new home, you visualize, you get into that home, you move in energetically, you smell what it smells like in there, you feel the joy and the bliss and the sense of havingness. And you start to feel your body buzz. I feel like the more you can sense that your body is buzzing from the sense of having it already, then that's how fast you're magnetizing your desire. And in my life, I've magnetized everything this way. I mean, before I discovered Feeling It Real and Law of Attraction, I was broke, in debt, lonely, unhappy. I had depression. And then within just a few weeks of applying these games that I teach, because I had to come up with games for myself to keep it fun and to keep me committed, I manifested my income increasing like 10,000%. I met and married the man of my dreams. We've been together for 7 or 8 years now, actually 9 years. I'm getting old. And then I manifested 2 businesses. I'm also a filmmaker. I'm manifesting a great amount of success with my film, and all of this is just by this buzzing sensation of already having my desire. And so the biggest thing that I could recommend to anybody who's listening is to just truly, instead of wanting your desire from any sort of needy or wanting or lackful feeling, practice instead to get into that sensation of already having it as vividly as you can, and then to spend as much time as you can holding that note or holding that frequency of already having the desire. You'll know that you're doing it because you will feel really good for no reason. Your friends may call you delusional. We have a forum, an amazing forum called the Bliss Community at DeniseCoates.com, and we all call ourselves the Bliss Community because we're walking around in these bubbles of bliss. So we're always saying you're in your bubble of bliss. And other people may say, well, why are you feeling this way? There's nothing happening in the outer world, but in your vibrational bubble or in your aura, you've already created these things, and so you'll feel joyful, you'll feel happy, you'll have a sparkle in your eye, and then usually within 3 days to 3 weeks of holding the note very vividly, you'll manifest your desire. And that's how my experience has been. And if you don't, it's okay. It just means you have a negativity addiction where you're canceling out your order, your vibrational order, throughout the rest of the day by focusing on lack or what you don't want. So here's a really good gauge to know where you are at with your desire. So in the ICP, we do 3 desires that we work with through the year, manifesting your top 3 desires. You have to ask yourself, when I think about this desire, do I feel good or do I feel bad? And if I feel bad, it means that I'm sending out the lack signal, which means I'm going to attract more of the lack. So I'm going to attract not having it. But if when I think about my desire, I can get jazzed, I can feel good, I can imagine having it, I can get glowing, I can get excited, I can feel passionate, I can feel empowered, I can feel like it's already here, I can taste it, touch it, smell it, feel it, then you're actually magnetizing it, because now you're sending out already having. And already having it, that frequency attracts having it in the outer world. So the whole purpose, really, of life is for us to be these creator gods who've come here to focus deliberately with our vibration and to create these things that we want. It's okay to have desires. It really is. It's why you came here, was to pulse that creative energy through you and to have an earth experience where you get to have and live the desires in your life, and you deserve it. Everybody deserves it. They just need to stop focusing on what they don't want and stop sending out these lackful signals. And so in my program, and I know there's tons of other programs, I'm sure Dr. Rita has programs too, but for me, my programs are very process and game related, so that you actually do specific things, you play specific games to get into the feeling place of already having your desires. So for instance, if you're lacking self-love, I have the I Love Me game where you list 10 things that you love about yourself every day. And, if you want to create a healthier body, you list 10 things you love about your body now, or 10 ways your body's already healthy now. If you want to attract, more money into your life, then you really do a lot of gratitude exercises. So it's really specific games that you play to help you get into the feeling place. Is Dr. Rita back?
No, she isn't. The whole side connected to her studio is not hooked up. But I have been listening here. I'm the producer, and I've been listening, and you did mention something that I thought was very significant, where that when you wish for something, like, I wish I had that thing, you're coming at it from a vibration of lacking. And
yes.
It's probably a real tough line to cross between that lacking wishing and pulling to you.
Yeah, and I really thank you for saying that, because even how people say sometimes prayers are answered and sometimes they're not answered and they don't know why. It's really the vibration that you bring to your prayer. It's the vibration that you bring to any of these things you're doing. If you're feeling lackful and longing, you're going to attract that longing back. But if you can get your senses involved in imagining already having it, that's the fine line. That's where it turns it into the positive, and you're going to be attracting it.
Denise, it's the music is playing, which means we have to go. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. I loved it. Okay, great. Okay, take care. Okay, bye.
Okay, that's Denise Coates. Her book, Feel It Real, from DeniseCoates.com. And next week, we'll be having Barry and Janae Weinhold again, good friends of the show, and we're going to be talking about their new book, Conflict Resolution. We'll also be talking to Mark Lester about accomplishing more by doing less. I'm not quite sure how you do that. I haven't read his book yet, but I'm sure we're all going to want to find out how. So anyway, until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. Thank you all for tuning in, and you all be blessed, and I'll talk to you next week.
Join host Dr. Rita Louise each week at this time for Just Energy Radio. Point your browser to www.justenergyradio.com for more show information and to contact Dr. Rita. Until next time, remember, it's all just energy.